Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Can we turn that light
down? Yeah, of course.
Hello, good Friday evening to you. Hello, if you've just come over from Instagram. We were actually just snuggled up for the night, watching Married First Sight Australia with plans to watch lots of other things. And then this Showbiz story here. And
I leapt out of my chair, actually.
it's actually quite meaningful to us in a way that people might not fully appreciate, actually.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hello. In a couple of different ways, actually, this news is quite big news for us. Those of you that come here regularly know that we quite often do showbiz news, and we always have enormous fun with this family, the Kardashians. And obviously on my Instagram, I do a lot with Kim Kardashian. I've always been a fan of the Kardashian series. I know a lot of people aren't, but I do think sometimes they are a bit misunderstood. They're actually a very close family. They're a group of incredibly close sisters, which I admire.
You're drawn to their big family attitude.
I'm drawn, and because they're half Armenian, there's that kind of cultural mix a bit. And of course, because... oh my God, I mean, Kanye's mental health has been something that we've always felt really sad for him and for her, because whenever anybody that you love is suffering with a mental health condition, it's incredibly painful for the people around them. And just because you've got money, just because you've got beautiful homes, just because you've got beautiful children, doesn't mean that you haven't still got the pain of that.
It's always sad news for any relationship to flounder and fall apart. But it's interesting that you immediately say that about Kanye's mental health. And Kanye has bipolar. It's recognised, obviously he's diagnosed, and refuses to take his meds. Sarah Clemmy says, "What do you expect? I'm bipolar and take my meds." I mean...
Well, this is it. I mean, the last big breakdown he had when he was on TMZ, I think TMZ have got an awful lot to...
answer for? Yeah. I think they've mixed
I think they have so often allowed him, when he's been in a bipolar, what appears to be a bipolar state, to go on live television and say things that he may well have hurt himself or his family, whatever, and I just think there's a duty of care there, you know.
I agree.
And this last outburst that he had when he was clearly seemed very unwell, and where he said the things that he said about their daughter, I don't think we need to repeat them again.
But he's also lashed out at her family.
Lashed out at her family in one of his mental health episodes, and we were incredibly moved at the time by Kim Kardashian's very emotionally articulate statement after that. And when she talked about, please don't judge, but it's incredibly difficult when somebody is unwell and refuses to take the medicine. I mean, rather like...
Absolutely, Stephanie Wheeler.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Everyone has to remember it's a family in turmoil.
It's a family in turmoil. And, I have followed them. And people have always said, oh, it's a fake marriage, it's this, it's that. I really don't think it is. I mean, and there will be a lot of pain in it. Think of those 4 beautiful children as well. My God.
Can I just to interrupt? This is a really interesting point, and a really E is just the name of the person, the person commenting. But apparently there's a feeling that Kanye feels that the meds stunt his creativity. Yeah. Now, I can really relate to that insofar as having been on antidepressant. There is a definite clamming down and sort of knocking off of the peaks of expression or artistic expression or creativity and what have you. And it's that terrible balance, isn't it, between the very thing that makes him expert at what he does is probably the very thing that causes him the most distress and upset, and thereby, by extension, his family. So,
well, it's like Sarah Clemmy says, meds really help. I know, as I've had so many mad mania moments. I lost my partner, my family, my friends, but by having counselling and taking meds, I've got them all back. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when I first saw this story break that actually Kim has filed for divorce, I thought, I wonder if she's just reached the end of her tether and is hoping that this will bring him back.
Like a rock bottom?
Bit like you with the alcohol, when I said to you,
Yeah,
you know, you'll never. I said to Mark, you will never ever sleep in this house again if you have another drop of alcohol, and he's never had another drop of alcohol again.
But we talked about that
And I
on the
wonder
sobriety chat we did the other night. So you're
So
saying
rock
that this could be a rock bottom that she's instigating?
I
in
mean,
order
how
to...
can we know? But maybe it is. Maybe it is. I just think it's just so terribly sad. And one thing, I mean, people laugh at me because I really do know about the Kardashians. One thing I notice about the Kardashians is when you think about all, you know, the other sisters as well that have had babies, and incredibly traumatic breakups. I mean, just horrific. With drink and drugs and other women their men have gone off. I mean, just humiliating, absolutely so soul destroying what's happened to them. And yet both of them, both Chloe and oh my God, I can't think of her other. Courtney have
Courtney
have absolutely grafted to make co-parenting a real thing. And you don't know because you haven't seen the shows.
No.
Courtney's husband, very, very troubled, in and out.
He's the one who's in and out of rehab. He's often in the show.
But because she's allowed him to co-parent, you've seen him really pull his boots up and be a good father. So I mean, you wouldn't expect anything different from this statement from Kim, that there's no drama. That the co-parenting, but here's the question: if part of this is to do with him not taking his meds, how will that work? I wonder. Actually, with
what in terms of duty of care and everything with the kids.
Do you?
So the actual story, guys, if you're playing catch up, Kardashian filed for divorce on Friday. Today, is asking for joint legal and physical custody of the couple's 4 children, North, Saint, Chicago,
That's the way
and
to
Psalm.
do it.
A source tells Entertainment Tonight that West is fine with the joint custody agreement and the two are committed to co-parenting. The source also notes that Kim nor Kanye is planning to contest the prenuptials, and they're already in the process of reaching a property settlement.
Well, she's living in the $60
They've been
million
separated, haven't they? Yeah.
house in the hills, I think, and he is living in the ranch in Wyoming. But I saw this coming, didn't I, 2 series ago?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And I said, because he started to get quite difficult about the way that she was dressing and stuff like that. And we actually saw that in the show when she was like, you can't tell me this.
Yeah.
You can't. This is me. This is my job.
Yeah.
And then it got quite contentious, and she was suggesting that maybe it'd be better for him if he lived in. It would be fine. She could meet him, and I remember him being very anti that. But you cannot imagine how difficult it's been for her with him not taking his meds. I mean, that's scary, not knowing how he might hurt himself, or I mean, you just don't know, do you?
No.
With that level of I've seen her a couple of times on the show when she's got the call and something major has happened, and she's in absolute floods of tears because he's had to go into facility or whatever. So
I mean,
I really feel
with
for
these
all of
stories,
them.
you get all these things like source says. And they say that a source said they're amicable and fully aligned when it comes to the kids. There's no drama or contentious relationship.
That
at
is
all.
how the Kardashians
They
break
have been
up.
in therapy,
They do.
working on their marriage. However, divorce is something that's... I mean, we saw those photos, those really distressing photos, actually, where you could see that she was imploring him about something in the front of a car. Do you remember? And that was
after
were quite
you'd made
dramatic.
those terrible statements.
Yeah. But I think they'd also come out of some kind of couples counselling as well. That's where they were caught coming out in the car.
Poor thing.
And the expression on her face, having been through couples counselling and some of that trauma, it looked
And when you
very
come out of
real.
couples counselling, it's a nightmare, isn't it? Imagine having a photograph taken of you as you come out of couples counselling. I mean, we used to come out actually
Well, no,
absolutely
we used to
hating
come out
each
separately.
other.
A couple of times you flew out first and I flew out
Well,
first.
we'd get in the car to go home, and I'd say, "Stop the car!" halfway, and I'd jump out of the car.
Yeah. So yeah, this. I mean, look, they're rehashing all of the correspondence and messages that he's sent, and
Honestly, every single time, those poor Kardashian girls have had a nightmare with their men. And look at how Courtney went to the bedside of her ex-husband after all he'd done to her when he had his stroke from the crack. She went and she gave up months sitting by his bedside, even though she wasn't going to get back with him. They're incredibly loyal people. And I know people in the business that have worked with their mum, who have worked with them, PR people and everything. Do you know what? I've never heard a bad word about them.
they seem very sincere.
They say they are sweet. They say her mum is so loyal, like she has friends from 40 years ago.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, no matter what money they have, no matter what homes they have, this is a family with 4 children that at the moment I think, are behaving impeccably by saying there is no argument. We're going to bring up our children together, but separately. Done.
Sander says he never got over losing his mum. He got worse, much worse off. I mean, my first thought...
He lost his mum
Yeah.
in in a cosmetic
That's right.
surgery operation.
Yeah.
Is that awful?
I mean, of course, your concern goes to... You feel that Kim has this incredibly supportive and intricate and intimate family network to turn to.
Yeah.
She's got her children.
And very
There
good
is a
friends.
thought here for the one half of the relationship that's struggling with their mental health and also not taking their meds. I mean, I guess the difficulty, as someone was saying just then, was if it was as simple as just taking your meds.
Yeah.
It's not just that simple
No,
when you
it's
are
not.
as big as Kanye, because at the end of the day, he is whatever we think of him, and I don't buy Kanye's music, it's not my thing, but he's hugely talented and he's hugely
he's
successful.
a mad genius, isn't he?
He is a mad genius, and so at the end of the day, where are you ever going to be able to get past him the idea that taking his meds will in any way not blunt his creativity? But you've now got a man not taking his meds and divorced, and with all that comes with that, renewed scrutiny, coming out of lockdown. So I do hope that there's people around him who are looking out for him.
Oh, I'm sure. He's very adored, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I mean, but as we say, it's always tragic when you see these stories break. For some
I kept thinking it might not happen. I know there's been rumours for ages, hasn't there? But they've just got such...
Well, it seemed to go so
and they're
quiet.
so
I thought they were just
entwined
sorting
in
it
their
out.
businesses and everything.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I just thought they were going to.
I wonder what their
sorting it out.
prenup is.
I know.
Probably they just each keep their own stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Both very wealthy, aren't they?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go,
well.
guys. Tell us what you think. Share your thoughts, and we'll probably come back to this again as it develops and as we come out of lockdown. It is very sad. It is very sad. Devon B, I feel for her. She went through so much backlash from her previous divorce, and I feel this would really have been a last resort for her. Yeah, she's not a sort of serial... She's not one... I mean, in my limited knowledge of her, she doesn't strike me as someone who just makes snap decisions about relationships. She seems quite committed when she's committed.
She's very...
Yeah.
She's a very clear thinker, Kim Kardashian, isn't she? I mean, as I say, anyone I've ever met that's worked with her has never had a bad word to say about her. Say she's very sweet, she's very focused, she's very businesslike, she's all of that, but...
And you are my Kim Kardashian in your own way, aren't you? You do your... Anyway, well, look, there you go, guys. That's just the latest news.
We
Kim
just thought we'd do
Kardashian
a little showbiz there
has
for your late
filed
night
for
showbiz.
divorce from Kanye West. It's
Yeah.
finally official. All right, guys, we will
All right,
see you in the
guys.
morning.
Lots of
Sleep
love.
tight.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.